The sixth ranger of the Time Force Guardians, Eric Myers, is a quantum ranger. Now, in his early days, Eric was a soldier working for the Silver Guardians, which was established by Wes Collins' father in order to protect Silver Hills. See, Wes was kind of the opposite of Eric. See, basically, they went to the same private school, but Eric had to work hard as a student, and Wes, alongside other snobby students, didn't really have to try hard. He was one of those kids, you know, in one of those schools. So they didn't get along naturally, so Eric refused to take advantage of Wes. He's just doing it himself, right? He wanted to study and get it done his own way rather than have the rich kid help him. So then he discovered that Wes was the red Time Force Ranger, and then soon Eric became aware that the Time Force Rangers are looking for the quantum powers. And Eric just happened to get to it first. And then Eric became the Quantum Ranger himself. Now, he helped the Rangers from time to time, reluctantly though. And then when Eric was hurt near the end of the season from a Cyclobot, he handed his morpher over to Wes to step up and take over. Now, when Eric recovered, Wes gave him back his morpher, and then a new friendship has now begun. So they get along in the end, how nice. When the Rangers left for the future, Wes was left in charge of the Silver Guardians, and his new partner was now his new friend, Eric. And before we continue on with this list of powerful Power Rangers part 2, if you want to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, that would be awesome. It's really helpful, you guys are the best, thank you so much for watching. Now let's get right back into this list. Number 9, Jen Scotts. The Pink Time Force Ranger had a pretty wild start to her heroic days. Now cut to the year 3000. Jen is now an officer for the Time Force Police, and crime was basically non-existent at this point, except for that pesky Rancic. Now Rancic was arrested and taken on trial at this time, with the Red Force Ranger Alex bringing them in. Now Jen went to the trial with Alex because at the time they were dating. So after Rancic was captured, he proposed to Jen. How lovely was that? No more crime, open bar, let's dance. So she said yes, and all was great, but while transporting Rancic to the cryo prison, the team was attacked. Now right before Rancic escaped to the past, Looper style, they unfortunately killed Alex. So with Alex's final breath, he charged up the team, Jen, Lucas, Trip, and Katie, and they all traveled back to the past to find Rancic. Now Jen got his red chronomorpher and told her about the 4 others that could be used to become Time Force Rangers, so they traveled back to 2001 and arrived in Silver Hills. But at this point, they needed a Red Ranger, so they went back to Wes Collins, that guy I just mentioned, who just happened to look identical to Alex, which is a fun coincidence. And then Jen became the Pink Time Force Ranger and leader of the team. Number 8, Adam Park. Adam met Tommy, Kimberly, and Billy at first after he saved a baby with his friends. It was pretty epic. What an introduction. So he lived in Stone Canyon, California, but was visiting Angel Grove competing in Team Ninja. See, he was representing Stone Canyon. Now, Lord Zed saw how this dude could kick ass, so he and his 2 friends got kidnapped and put in the Dimension of Despair. The Power Rangers saved the day, but Adam and his friends saw their true identity when Tommy and Kimberly had to remove Billy's helmet after fighting the Serpent of Darkness. So Kimberly and Tommy at this point were like, you know what, we're good friends too. We're gonna also remove our helmets. Let's do it. That's what friends do. So Adam and his friends, Rocky and Aisha, were actually taken to the command center afterwards to meet Zordon. How cool is that? Sworn to secrecy, of course. So down the road, when the Rangers were heading to Switzerland for the World Peace Conference, Adam was picked to take Zach's place as the Black Power Ranger, with Rocky and Aisha taking over Jason and Trini's place as well. Guys, be there for your friends. You might just become a Power Ranger. Who knows? Number 7, Tori Hansen. The Blue Wind Ranger, and also the first female Blue Power Ranger in TV history. Ayo. She's from the Ninja Rangers, and one of the biggest things that stands out with Tori is that she's great at resolving conflicts with her words, rather than just, you know, kicking people in the neck. She does, however, still train at the Wind Ninja Academy, so if she had to, she could still right in your neck easily. She's a great surfer as well on her spare time. She's fast also, like really fast. She possesses superhuman speed. She can move faster than the human eye can see, and if she focuses hard enough, she can fight off mental attacks as well. How amazing is that? Surfing, fighting skills, super speed. So it'll come to no surprise that she can bend water as well as walk on it. This girl's literally Jesus. And she rides in style with a dolphin Zord as well, in case you don't believe the whole water thing. She's very into water. Number 6, Ryan Mitchell. The Titanium Ranger. That even sounds cool saying it out loud. See, Ryan's part of the Lightspeed Rangers, and it all started with a car accident when he was young, as most of these things usually start with a tragedy. Now, this wasn't your usual fender bender either. See, it was Ryan, his sister, and his father, and they were hanging over a cliff at one point. It was super intense. It was crazy. So Ryan was hanging onto his father's shoe, which is so scary, and that's when the spirit of Diabolico showed up and offered a deal. Kind of like Mephisto, just popping up and being like, how can I help? Diabolico would save the child, but then he would raise the kid himself until his 20th birthday. So Ryan fell, and his father just had to agree at that point, right? He had no choice. Nothing like being raised by a demon. Good times. So while being raised, he was convinced that his father had actually rejected him rather than what really happened. And he favored his sister Dana, which wasn't true. She was also a Power Ranger at this point. So now he's becoming evil and he hates the Power Rangers naturally. So now down the road, Diabolical sent Ryan on this mission. The mission was to steal the prototype titanium morpher from their Aqua base and destroy the Rangers, including his sister Dana. Now Captain Mitchell saved the day by reminding Ryan of his childhood, where he snapped out of it and then joined the Lightspeed Rangers after all. Number 5, Andros. The Red Space Ranger, so the leader of the Space Rangers. Andros is pretty unique. He's a human from a colony in space called KO-35, where telekinesis is a thing you can just obtain and have, kind of like in Looper. A lot of similarities to Looper in this one. So after the Turbo Rangers command center was destroyed, they left Earth, and that's when Andros found them. So even in space, you can still have a wild childhood as well. So when Andros was a kid, his sister Corone was kidnapped by Darkonda, so he made it his lifelong goal to find her, obviously. So him and his pal Zane joined the KO-35 army in hopes of becoming Power Rangers, and eventually they were both selected by Zordon himself to become the galaxy's first Space Rangers. And they were just given a spaceship. They were given the Astro Mega ship and then 4 other Astromorphers to assemble a squad down the road as well. Zane as well becoming the Silver Space Ranger. Now during a battle, however, with one of the Dark Spectre's monsters, Zane was injured badly. It wasn't looking good. So he had to be kept in a cryogenic tube inside the ship, Bucky Barnes style. Number 4, Anubis Doggy Kruger. Perhaps one of the most memorable characters I think on this list. Doggy is, well, a little bit different. Doggy is a Syrian, a cool combo of a human and a jackal. He is the SPD Shadow Ranger and also the commander of SPD's Earth branch until he got promoted to Supreme Commander of Space Patrol Delta. Now the first Space Patrol Delta was formed years back when Emperor Groom attacked their homeworld planet of Sirius with his Trubian forces. Now unfortunately they lost his battle and Sirius was destroyed, with Kruger waking up all alone on the planet with everybody else gone. What a tragic start. So when General Benag came to Earth later on, it brought back all these memories for Commander Kruger, and with the help of the B Squad Rangers, Commander Kruger faced his past and Benag. Now Cat Manx had also made Kruger a new compact device, so SPD Patrol Morpher, which allowed him to become the Shadow Ranger. Number 3, Sydney Drew. Sydney Drew is the SPD Pink Ranger. Now she comes from a rich family and she's kind of spoiled, not gonna lie. She's a model, singer, and she's actually great at fencing because, you know, one way or another, you still have to be a Power Ranger. Now, she's one of the 2 original SPD B Squad members next to Sky and Bridge. Now, on her birthday, she was only looking out for herself. She wanted to just do things for herself, not really include anybody else. And Jack Landers, the Red Ranger, made her do a scouting job on her birthday, which I gotta say, it's her birthday, let her relax a little. I mean, we get it, you're trying to change character, but it's her birthday. It's one day a year, come on. So she was annoyed until she realized that Jack didn't even have a birthday to begin with. So she changed her ways and made it a 2-for-1 birthday. So she turned her spoiled behavior around, and I mean, honestly, you love to see it. She was the daughter of a scientist, one of 5 that was exposed to this radiation, which gave them super abilities. So Sydney has these iron fists. Well, actually, she can transform into any element. She just needs to touch it. Hence the iron nugget on her belt. Number 2, Cam Wattenby. He's the son of Sensei Kenoi Wattenby, head of the Wind Ninja Academy, so you already know this dude is gonna drop you. He's sarcastic, cynical, but also quite intelligent. He was skilled but never was allowed to become a ninja himself, which always bugged him growing up. As, you know, rightfully so, that would bug me as well. But he did mentor the students during this, so he was part of the team, you know? Wasn't a ninja, but he helped them out, so close enough. Now after Lathor sucked the academy into the sky, he took 3 students, Shane, Dustin, and Tori, to this underground dojo. Now his father instructed him to give the students Wind Morphers, and they became the Wind Rangers. Now his job on the team was to create all these cool gadgets. He was the gadget guy. He was brilliant, so he created power spheres, he created Zords, and other weapons for the team. Now when his father was captured by the Thunder Rangers, Cam created a force field to protect him. Cam also discovered the missing piece to combine the Thunder Megazord with the Storm Megazord, so this guy's killing it. And finally, number 1, Merrick Ballatin. Lunar Wolf Ranger Merrick Ballatin is a member of the Wild Force Power Rangers. He's one of the most powerful when it comes to abilities. Now, he used to be a soldier from the land of Animarium thousands of years ago, but then he put on a legendary wolf mask with great powers found at Nazar's temple, and he was able to save the day. But the thing was, that mask was kind of haunted. I don't know, it wasn't removable, so it messed his life up a bit. He eventually became the evil Zen Aku. Now, the ancient warriors had no choice but to imprison him in a tomb. I mean, obviously, you can't put this guy anywhere, just sorry, go away. He wanted to be put out, but they were like, no, we can't do that. We have to just put you in this tomb. Now cut to present day, the new Master Orc freed Zenaku in hopes to use him against the Rangers, but once a month on the night of a new moon, he would regain his memories, but then after come sunset, he would go back into beast mode. But once he gained control of his powers, he became the Lunar Wolf Ranger, and he's one of the most powerful, hence why we put him at number 1.
Coming in at number 10 is Carter Grayson. Grayson? Yes, but no relation to Nightwing, don't worry. No, Carter Grayson was Mariner Bay's best firefighter, saving people and for some reason using his awesome martial arts before he even became the Red Lightspeed Rescue Ranger. He is incredibly practical, using whatever tools he has on hand to do the job, like when he drove the Lightspeed Rescue Rover into battle crushing a monster. He's clearly very capable as well, as he has only ever resorted to using his Battleizer 3 times in total in the show. In the comics, during Shattered Grid, he was the only one of the LSR Rangers to survive Dracon's attack, and he teamed up with Jen Scott's Kimberly Hart and the other surviving Solar Rangers, doing their best to help bring the fight back to Drakon, eventually resulting in the rewriting of reality. But he didn't really have anything to do with that, he just fought Drakon's forces on the moon alongside the other Rangers, which is still cool. Number 9, Robert James. RJ has the honor of being the very first Purple Ranger, and he was also the very laid-back mentor to the Power Rangers Jungle Fury. He learned a technique known as the swoop technique, which is fun to say, but also gave him the curious ability to fight blind. But he also had an incredibly powerful bond with the Wolf Animal Spirit, the Violet Wolf Ranger Zord and the Wolf Pride Megazord. With the Spirit, he can perform the Wolf Beam and the Energy Strike attacks using dark purple energy to attack his enemies. The Energy Strike was able to take down Camille with 1 hit. Now, while he isn't really the leader of the Ranger team, he gives a great level of support to the team, and he is their mentor. When Lord Drakon attacked Jungle Karma Pizza, RJ was rescued by Jen Scotts and Kimberly Hart and uses his wolf animal spirit in the fight that took place on the moon of the world of the Coinless, combining his animal spirit with other Zords. And at number 8 is Trey of Triforia. Trey here is the first Gold Ranger introduced in Power Rangers Zeo. He uses his Zord, Pyramidus, which can fly into space and can shoot these sweet golden lightning bolts. And by combining with the Zeo Megazord and the Red Battle Zord, he can create the Zeo Ultra Zord, which is the most powerful Zord in Rangers Zeo. He weirdly even gets split into 3 at one point: Trey of Courage, Trey of Heart, and Trey of Wisdom. It's weird. In the comics though, he rallies to the call of Zordon with a bunch of other Rangers to make a stand against Lord Drakon and has his Morpher upgraded by Dr. K. Trey also wields the Golden Power Staff, which could fire energy attacks, and every time he used it, he'd be like, "It's time for a gold rush," which is both hilarious and I kinda love it. I kinda support that. Good job. If you guys are loving this Power Ranger content like it seems you are, then let us know by dropping a like or even subscribing here at Top 10 Nerd. But in at number 7 is Antonio Garcia, the Gold Samurai Ranger, making him the 6th Ranger on that team. Antonio, like other 6th Rangers, is arguably the strongest Ranger on the team. He controls the element of light, which allows him to move just as fast as it, so that's pretty damn powerful right there, able to attack multiple enemies while looking like he hadn't even moved at all. His Zord, the Light Zord, is honestly a little silly looking because it's a lantern. But it's still powerful, and he has also been in possession of the Octozord, which is actually a squid, and the Clawzord, which is actually a lobster. There's a lot of weird, fishy, underwater themed stuff with this guy, as he also has the Barracuda Blade, the Barracuda Bite, and razor-sharp Barracudas that he would just throw at people during battles. I don't know. I actually have no idea why there's fish-related stuff here. I don't know. I'll never know, but he is really capable with it, so we can't really complain here. When Lord Drakon attacks the Samurai Rangers, Antonio is actually very capable and takes down some of the Ranger Sentries really easily. He only gets defeated because he jumps in to save Mia, but he is only depowered and captured. We don't actually know what happens to him after that. Number 6, Yale of Sard. Okay, honestly, I had no idea that a feline could be a Power Ranger, but I am so glad that they can. This is awesome. Okay, so Yale is a cat-like alien from the planet of Sard. Yale was originally the runt of the litter, which actually allowed him to survive when the rest of his family did not. Yale became empowered by the Morphin Grid, which inadvertently caused a massive explosion and had the Omega Rangers arrive on Sard to apprehend the big old cat. And he is a big old cat. He's like yay high and he's huge. What's interesting is that Yale actually proved to be too strong for these already incredibly powerful Omega Rangers. Yale was eventually depowered and became like a pet for the Omega Rangers, living on their ship with them and eventually saving the leader Zack from the Horrid. But eventually, Yale comes into contact with the Blue Omega Morpher thanks to a mysterious figure, the Blue Emissary. And man, Yale is such a cool looking Blue Omega Ranger. His strength and forgiveness make him an excellent addition to the Omega team, but also he's a big old cat, and that's adorable and also terrifying. Number 5, it's Jen Scotts. Jen Scotts was the leader of the Time Force Rangers for most of their time in the show. She has knowledge of the future, being from the year 3000, and as a member of the Time Force Police, she helped to stop virtually all crime. She is one of the only Pink Rangers that leads a Ranger team, so we know she is powerful based off of that fact alone. But we add into that the fact that the team she leads is all about time and traveling through time, and that just kind of amps everything up just a little bit. In the really cool comic Sins of the Future, she does battle against the Black Time Force Ranger and is even confronted by members of her own Ranger team, who she takes down pretty easily. That story is really cool, but then there is the Shattered Grid timeline. Jen is able to survive a crack in space-time and then flies through space and time to land in the present to help Kimberly Hart battle and actually drive away Lord Drakon, one of the most powerful Rangers ever. And she was instrumental in restoring reality back to the way it's supposed to be. And then, in the really cool Power Rangers Pink story, Jen, alongside all the other Pink Rangers, are summoned by Kimberly Hart, and they defeat Sledge, Rancic, Trakina, Void Queen, and Black Lion Warrior all at the same time. Number 4, Casey Chan. The Pink Ranger of the Power Rangers Turbo. She saved the old Pink Ranger and Tommy Oliver himself before she even became a Ranger. And then, when she took the Pink Ranger spot from Catherine Hillard, Casey became one of the most powerful Rangers ever. She was fully committed to her duties as a Ranger, even going out into space after losing her Ranger powers to fight against Divatox, which eventually led to her becoming the Pink Ranger for the Space Rangers, and then the Lost Galaxy Rangers, helping them do battle against the Psycho Rangers. Despite her insane fighting skills and drive, she was actually defeated by Lord Drakon during Shattered Grid, and when reality was restored, she did join up with the other Pink Rangers, including Jen Scott, in that Power Rangers Pink story I talked about before. Only, Casey did way more, using her Astro Blaster and Satellite Stunner to seriously kick some butt. And number 3, Trini Kwan. Trini Kwan, for those who don't know, was the original Mighty Morphin Yellow Ranger, and just like every other Ranger on that team, she was awesome. She was in possession of the Saber-Tooth Tiger Power Coin and the Saber-Tooth Dinozord, not to mention the Griffin Thunderzord. But she even got to use the really cool Dragon Armor by modifying her Morpher. But that's just in the show. In the comics, Trini would go on to become the Omega Yellow Ranger after the events of Shattered Grid, recruited by the Blue Emissary of the Morphin Masters. But then, when Jason Lee Scott loses his connection to the Red Omega Ranger, Trini actually takes over as the new Red Omega Ranger, and while that doesn't technically come with a power boost, it does come with some serious bragging rights. At least, in my mind it does. She eventually loses her standing as a Ranger, but is repowered by the Sword of Light to become the all-new Yellow Ranger. And in at number 2 is Zack Taylor. Just like Trini, Zack Taylor was also a member of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. He was the first Black Ranger, and he is actually second in command to Jason Lee Scott. Or, I mean, he was until Tommy Oliver came back as the White Ranger. Thanks, Tommy. Where Trini was the Saber-Tooth Tiger, Zack here has the Mastodon Power Coin and the Mastodon Dinozord, and also has access to the Lion Thunderzord. Similar to Trini, Zack also joined on as an Omega Ranger, the Omega Black Ranger, Ranger, but before that ever happened in the world of the Coinless, Zack was the leader of the Coinless themselves, who were a resistance group fighting against Lord Drakon. After being captured and escaping with the help of his allies, Zack reunited with the Zack, Trini, and Billy of the main universe and rescued Ninjor from Lord Drakon, but he sacrifices himself to save his younger Prime Universe self. I hope that wasn't too confusing. It was kind of confusing to say it. But in at number 1 is Ninjor. I actually don't know if this one counts as a ranger. Ninjor is the creator of the power coins, which, as you can imagine, does indeed make him pretty OP. He wasn't even known to be real, thought only to be a myth, because Zordon just stumbled on the power coins that this powerful ninja sage created. Ninjor, while more of a sage and creator, could easily overwhelm Goldar and Catastrophe in battle, withstanding so many different attacks. He could turn into a giant puff of smoke, and he could also transform into a giant Megazord-like form at will. He could summon and fire lightning, and then on top of that, he had this huge katana, and katanas are always cool. In the split history of the comics though, Ninjor is imprisoned by Lord Drakon to restore his Morpher and Power Coin, and to help Drakon gain more Ranger powers before Ninjor was actually rescued by the Rangers. He then went on to help them in their fight against Rita Repulsa and Lord Drakon, creating the White Ranger powers. He built Saba, the White Tiger Zord, and the Falcon Zord.
Number 10. Phonepanzee. During the Ninja Steel season of the show that ran in 2017 and 2018, the Rangers were forced into a gladiatorial-style intergalactic tournament called Galaxy Warriors. They faced many competitors who were trying to kill them and steal the Ninja Power Stars. Oh, that sounds important. One who actually came pretty close to besting the team was the contestant named Phonepanzee. As is implied by the name, he is a hybrid of a chimpanzee and a phone. Although he is a capable hand-to-hand combatant and can unleash basher bots upon his enemies, his real strengths come from the deception skills that his phone parts grant him. Not only can he use the speaker in his mouth to unleash a massive sonic boom that would send his enemies flying, but he could mimic voices with uncanny accuracy. This allowed him to imitate a ranger and then call up one of their teammates, who he would then draw into a trap and attack. The host of the Galaxy Warriors, Cosmo Royale, then used a Gigantify machine to turn Phonepanzee giant, forcing the Rangers to use their Zords to form the Ninja Steel Megazord and the Bull Rider Megazord. They defeated the giant monster, who promptly exploded. Okay, that's weird, but I think I'm following this okay so far. As long as the villains don't get any stranger than that, I should be fine. Number 9. Typeface. Oh come on, that's a keyboard! After the Ninja Steel season, fans of the Power Rangers were given the Super Ninja Steel season. Like Phonepanzee, Typeface is a contestant in the Galaxy Warriors. He could summon basher bolts and was an expert fighter, being able to hold his own against multiple Rangers at once, which is really impressive because he doesn't look like he'd be super mobile. He can fire lasers out of his hands and spacebar, which were powerful enough to incapacitate all 6 of the Rangers. And he is also a teleporter, but his real strength is more tech-based, which, yeah, I should hope so, otherwise the theming is kinda weird. He has a virus gun, which can infect the weapons of the Rangers, making them unable to effectively fight his with their Element Star Ninja Fire attack. The Rangers were eventually able to repair their weapons and attack Typeface, and Cosmo Royale repeated his strategy of growing Typeface into a giant monster who had to be defeated by a Megazord. However, this was a difficult task due to him being able to use his teleportation abilities to dodge several attacks and gain the upper hand for a while. However, the Rangers were eventually able to take him out with the Ninja Blaze Megazord's Ranger Blast final attack. Yeah, you gotta watch out for those. Number 8. Pandemonium. In the Mighty Morphin comic series, the new Green Ranger destroyed the Green Chaos Crystal, which left the infamous Lord Zed incapacitated. As he recovered in the Moon Palace, Zed's cronies discussed their options about what their next course of action should be. They considered eliminating their boss, but decided against it, as it would require them to grow spines, and instead decided to try and capture the Green Ranger so that when Lord Zed awoke, he would have someone to vent his frustrations on other than them. They created a creature called Pandemonium Pandemonium, who was of course a panda who had super strength, as well as an entire arsenal of spears and axes sticking out of his back, which he could remove and use against the team. He could also give off massive energy blasts, which damaged anyone caught in his vicinity. The panda gave the team some trouble, but was defeated when the new Green Ranger showed up and used his dragon dagger to destroy the creature. Zed's cronies watched from afar and bemoaned that they had chosen too cute and cuddly of an animal to be their agent of destruction. Number 7. Horrid King. In the Power Rangers comic series, the Rangers and Zordon are not on good terms, as the Rangers have taken off in a ship searching for a means of defeating the Imperials in deep space, with the evil Lord Drakon serving as their guide. Things soon start going south when their ship stops working and they discover that they have been boarded by a frightening race of alien energy-draining vampires known as the Horrid, and their king. The Horrid were once a peaceful race of people, but their planet was destroyed when they attempted to control reality, trapping them in between dimensions, neither alive or dead. They learned that they could absorb other beings' life forces in order to take on a physical form. The Horrid King led them across the galaxy looking for beings that they could absorb before coming across the Rangers. The king and all of his people cannot be harmed by physical attacks when in a non-physical form, as all weapons simply pass through them. However, if they have fed enough to take on a physical form, they become vulnerable. This weakness was exploited by Drakon, who killed the Horrid King and took his place as the Horrid's leader. Number 6. Vargoyle. Vargoyle, the robotic villain, was one of the early inventions of Skrozzle, but when they discovered something called the Fury Cells, Vargoyle used them to become powerful beyond measure, but also evil. Skrozzle escaped and Vargoyle followed, but eventually agreed to work for Evox in exchange for the Beast Powers upgrade. He was sent after the Rangers, where he feigned being weaker than he was to lull them into a false sense of security before unleashing his full might when they least expected it. He manages to install a memory rewriting machine in a local TV transmitting tower to wipe everyone's memories of his boss's previous attacks. This was undone, and he was destroyed by Devon's Beast X cannon. He was revived by the villain Ryjack, who wanted to form an alliance with Evox. This revived Vargoyle had an upgraded golden body, but was also fitted with a compliance collar, which he of course was not thrilled about. His teleportation and weapon summoning powers are handy, and his beast powers give him a real edge between his cheetah speed and gorilla strength, but it was not long before this evil robot was taken out again, never to be rebuilt. Number 5. Snag-Eye. This robotic general was created to serve the Void Queen during the second season of Dino Fury. He pledged his eternal loyalty to his queen, who demanded that he destroy the Rangers. He was given data on the Dino Fury Rangers' powers, which allowed him to easily defeat the 6 Rangers. The chessboard buckle on his torso contains a pocket dimension, which he was able to use to imprison his foes. It was only through the betrayal of the Void Knight that the Rangers were able to escape the pocket dimension. He then went up against the Red Ranger, who managed to destroy this robot bishop general using the Dino Knight strike. So, though he was only in one episode, the fact that he was able to absolutely wipe the floor with the Rangers is pretty impressive. Number 4. Wreckmate. Yet another Dino Fury villain. Wreckmate has a lot of themes going on at once. He is a robot who looks like a rook from a chess set, but he's also a pirate as well as a general. He's just a lot. He's a lot. He was built from the parts of a boat, but became a giant when the Void Knight gave him a Sporix. The Dino Fury Rangers fought him underwater in their Dino Fury Megazord warrior formation, but Wreckmate proved too powerful and was able to defeat the Megazord. Before he could destroy it, he was interrupted by the Moza Razor Zord and presumed dead. He entered a competition with his rival teammate Slither to see who could kill the most Rangers, with the loser having to leave forever, though both were of course unsuccessful and unable to score a point. He served the Void Queen soon after, often clashing with and failing to defeat the Rangers. He has shoulder-mounted cannons which can fire cannonballs, energy blasts, lasers, and torpedoes. As a pirate ship-themed robot chess piece, he was of course capable of surviving underwater, like a submarine, making him just as dangerous on land as he was on water. Number 3. General Tynamon. Going back to the Super Ninja Steel season, where the Rangers were involved with the whole Galaxy Warriors thing, Tynamon was the manager of one of the most famous fighters, Brax, but was hiding a small secret. It turns out that Tynamon was in fact a small creature who, embarrassed by his small stature, had constructed a robot body to make himself look bigger. Tynamon, tiny man, I get it, cute. So Tynamon was approached by the villainous Madame Odious, who offered to grow Tynamon Dynamon to the size he desired if he and Brax would help her destroy the Rangers. He agreed and began a campaign against the heroes. His main weapon is his staff, which can create a protective barrier and can fire a rope line to ensnare and move his enemies. In his final battle with the Rangers, he is hit by the Gigantify Ray, letting him finally achieve his dream of being huge. This was short-lived, however, and he was defeated by the Ninja Steel Ultrazord Blast and died, never really having gotten the opportunity to enjoy his new size. Number 2, King Aradon. Our next villain was actually mentioned in passing by Zordon in Power Rangers Zeo all the way back in 1996, but we didn't get to actually meet this king until just last year in the Mighty Morphin comic book series. After Earth was weakened by the Altarian War and Earth's command center was destroyed, the ruler of the Automaton Dominion, King Aradon, decided to take advantage of the situation and sent scouts to the command center's ruins where they tried to ambush the Red Ranger. He decided that Earth was ripe for the taking and declared himself ruler with the aid of his general, Count Karnakas. He offered to spare the Green Ranger's life if he stepped aside and allowed the king to destroy Zordon. When the Ranger refused, the two entered a heated battle, which was aided by Red Ranger Rocky, who helped the Rangers triumph over the evil king. Number 1, Leisure. This villain appeared in an episode of the Dino Supercharge season and is vaguely summer themed. There is so much going on visually with this character. She has an ice cream cone for an arm and a lobster claw coming out of a sun hat for the other. She has fish pants and palm trees for eyes. The longer I look at this villain, the more I feel like I'm having a stroke. 100,000 years ago, Leisure used her vacation ray on the cavemen, which made them all want to take a break from their work and go on vacation. This got so bad that everyone almost starved as no one was hunting, but she was imprisoned in a cave and the effects of her beam were reversed, and as a result, we got hustle culture. She was accidentally released by the Rangers and despite looking so odd, turned out to be extremely powerful, beating the 7 Rangers with ease before firing her vacation beam on the entire planet, making everyone, including the Rangers, just stop what they were doing to go on vacation. They eventually attacked Leisure with the Plesio Charge Megazord, but she used her ice cream arm triple scoop twist attack to defend herself. She was eventually defeated, and everyone got back to work. Yay!
Number 10. Lauren Shiba. Lauren is actually very unique. While technically not the first female Red Ranger, that honor goes to Charlie, who led the evil A-Squad team during Power Rangers SPD, but Lauren is the first good female Red Ranger. And it was a really big deal. Lauren takes over as the Red Samurai Ranger from her brother Jaden, and let's just say some of her fellow Rangers aren't too happy about it. But in the short time she's given, Lauren proves just how good of a leader she really is, even outdoing her own brother. She had to prove herself against all odds, and she succeeded, helping the Rangers win in the end. Now, like I mentioned, Lauren came in later and didn't have a lot of time, but proved herself a lot in the time she was given. The cool thing was that in the Boom comic series during Shattered Grid event, she was given a lot more to do, and was crucial in stopping Dragon, and helped turn things back to normal in the end. She has also become so popular that she just got announced as a new DLC for the console game Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. Number 9, Andros. I feel like a lot of people might be a little bit angry that Andros is a little higher on this list, but in the grand scheme of things, he was a really great Ranger, and had the added benefit of being in one of the best seasons, Power Rangers in Space. Andros was from a space colony, and while tracking down some leads, bumped into the Turbo Rangers. Some of them went on to join him as the Space Rangers, although not right away. He didn't really trust them all, and that is one of his biggest faults. His lack of trust in anyone. While he does end up overcoming it, it did hurt him a lot during the season, but he has a very compelling arc throughout the whole thing. To save his sister. This is his central conflict for the whole season, and comes to a massive conclusion near the end, which wraps up a ton of stories that started all the way back in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The whole thing felt kind of like a series finale for the Power Rangers in general, but as we all know, it ended up continuing, and we got some great seasons after. But during the final moments of the season, Andros had to make the difficult choice to destroy Zordon, and by doing so, save his sister, but also turn a lot of other villains good, including Rita and Lord Zed. It was a big deal, and Andros made the difficult decision to do it, and in that moment proved how good of a Ranger he was. The ability to make the hard choices. Number 8. Connor McKnight. Oh man, Connor is probably one of the most unlikable Red Rangers. At first. I mean, he was this rude jock who constantly disrespected other people. I mean, mainly women. He was also a massive bully towards fellow Ranger Ethan. And for the longest time, he wasn't even really leading his own team. Tommy was, as their mentor and later as the Black Dino Ranger. But as the season went on, Connor evolved and became a real leader, and learned to respect other people. I mean, near the beginning, he wanted to ditch being a Power Ranger and become a soccer star. He decided to stay with the Rangers and become a better person instead. And, in the end, he did end up getting the best of both worlds. Well, kind of. I mean, he didn't become the soccer player he always wanted to be, but he was a ranger and he ended up opening soccer camps for people all around the world, which was a nice touch and a good end to his arc. That kind of growth was nice to see, and making everyone hate him at the beginning was a very unique and interesting way to start off this Red Ranger's journey. But it worked, and people consider Dino Thunder to be one of the best seasons ever. Number 7. Wes Collins. Wes, the Red Time Force Ranger. The interesting thing is, even though Wes was the Red Ranger, he wasn't the leader of his team. It was actually Jen, the Pink Ranger, who led it. And it actually worked out. Wes was not ready to be a leader when he started. I mean, he was just kind of this spoiled rich kid who got money from his father. But after Jen's fiance, Alex, dies, also played by Jason Font, Wes becomes the new Time Force Red Ranger. Throughout the course of the season, Wes becomes a hero, and his team becomes his family. He was willing to sacrifice his own life for theirs, when he finds out that they would all perish if they stayed to fight with him in the past, so he sent them to the future. Of course, they all return, finding out that he would die if they didn't, and they kind of create a new destiny together. In the end, when he stays in the past, he becomes the leader of the Silver Guardians, a police organization created by his father, and gets Eric, aka the Quantum Ranger, to be his second in command. Wes also returned in the 25th anniversary of Power Rangers, titled Dimensions in Danger, where he was leading a group of other legendary Rangers. I mean, he has come a long way from just being some spoiled rich kid. Number 6, Shane Clark. Shane is the Red Wind Ranger from Power Rangers Ninja Storm. He was a member of the Wind Ninja Academy, but at the beginning, not one of its best students. Shane, Dustin, and Tori were all constantly late for class and lost in fights against fellow students. But after the Wind Ninja Academy and all of its other students were all taken away by the villain Lothar, Shane was one of the last 3 students and, at that moment, chosen to become the Red Wind Ranger. Even though he turned out to be one of the last choices for the role, he became a damn good one. Shane was a great leader. But I mean, he didn't start off that way. He was a bit of a slacker, and he just loved skateboarding. He grew a lot over the course of the season, from a guy who, couldn't get to ninja class on time to the guy who ended up running it. Yes, he became an instructor in the end. Shane also is unique in the fact that he is one of the few Red Rangers to have powers outside of his costume. He has super speed, stealth, and can fly in a sense. Shane was a guy that wanted to prove that he could be more, not only to himself, but to his family, specifically his older brother, who thought Shane was just a screw-up and would never make anything of himself. Well, over the course of the season, he not only helped defeat Lothar, but also proved to himself, his team, and his family that he was a lot more capable than he thought. Number 5, Carter Grayson. Carter, the Red Lightspeed Ranger. Even before becoming a Power Ranger, Carter was saving people as a firefighter. The reason he became one was because when he was a kid, he was saved by another firefighter, Captain Mitchell, who, he later ended up working for. He has always put his life on the line to save others, so it should come as no surprise that he was chosen to be one of the Power Rangers. He is a by-the-book kind of guy and doesn't really like to stray from that, which makes him stand out from other Red Rangers who usually will be a bit of, wild cards. Carter is also one that will never back down from a fight. He stopped Queen Ben-Shira by throwing her into the Shadow World and was one of the Rangers to return for not only the Forever Red special, but also the Legendary Battle. Carter may not be a Ranger who has changed that much over the years, but he is a dedicated leader and someone who will always be there for his team and the citizens of Mariner Bay whenever they need him. Number 4, TJ Johnson. TJ wasn't the first Red Turbo Ranger, but he is probably the most well-known Red Turbo Ranger. You see, Tommy was the first one to take on those powers, but he eventually passed the power on to TJ at one point during the season. A lot of people also know TJ as the Blue Space Ranger, which, he became right after. Honestly, in the short time he was given, TJ made a really big impression, and a lot of fans wish he could have, been the Red Ranger longer. And imagine being the guy that had to succeed Tommy. That would have been nerve-wracking since Tommy was so popular, but TJ managed to do it, and still went on to be one of the more popular Rangers around. To start off, he saved Tommy before he even was a Ranger. He didn't hesitate to put his own life on the line to save someone he didn't even know, which is why Tommy ended up choosing him to take the power. When he became the Red Turbo Ranger, he constantly put his life on the line to protect his team. Near the end of the season, he sacrifices the Zords and almost his own life to stop Divatox. Even when the power chamber was being destroyed, TJ made sure that he wouldn't leave Alpha behind, even though he could have died trying to save him. Number 3, Tommy Oliver. Some fans might be angry that Tommy isn't number 1, and I get that. And while it might be up for debate on the greatest Rangers of all time list, he is more known for his other colors. But that doesn't take away from how good of a Red Ranger he was. Now, Tommy was 2 Red Rangers, the Red Zeo Ranger and the Red Turbo Ranger. But he wasn't a Turbo Ranger for very long, and he passes on to TJ, who we just talked about earlier. But even before becoming the Red Ranger at Zeo, he was kind of leading the Mighty Morphin team as the White Ranger, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, because he started out as this evil Ranger outcast and ended up working his way up and leading multiple Ranger teams. He even semi-led the Dino Rangers in Dino Thunder. He's courageous, selfless, and cares about his team. Heck, he was the one to bring all the Red Rangers together in the Forever Red team-up special in 2002. Tommy has also showed time and time again that he cared about everyone else more than himself. I mean, he even revealed himself as the Red Zeo Ranger to save his brother David, which put himself in grave danger, but he did it because he wanted to make sure he was safe no matter the cost to his own life. And that is a true leader. Number 2, Leo Corbin. Leo has one of the most interesting Red Ranger origins of all time. I mean, he wasn't even supposed to be one. His brother Mike was. You see, Mike was the one that pulled the red Quasar Saber from the stone, not Leo. But during the battle, when the whole world is turning into stone, Mike sacrifices his life and passes the sword onto his little brother, Leo. Everyone thought it was a mistake because Leo was seen kind of as like a screw-up, but Leo decides to take on the mantle and ends up proving them all wrong and becoming one of the best Red Rangers in the show's history. He started off as this impulsive, leap-before-looking kind of type and grew into a leader that the rest of the Rangers trusted. Whereas a lot of other Red Rangers start off as pretty good leaders, Leo grew into the role gradually as the season went on. And it was really cool to see. He was also the one to defeat Trakina at the end of the season. Leo's story is one of the best, and even though he wasn't the Red Ranger the team wanted, he was the Red Ranger the team needed. Number 1, Jason Lee Scott. The original Red Ranger. Jason started it all, and to this day is still the best Red Ranger out there. He is this fearless leader and will never give up, no matter what. He led his team through many battles and was the one to take down one of their greatest foes, the Green Ranger. He always looked out for his team and was always putting them in front of himself. He even taught free karate classes at Ernie so that kids could learn self-defense. And fans were devastated when he left in season 2, but the new Boom comic series has added a lot of new stories for him as the Red Ranger. During the Shattered Grid event, he was the one that led every single Power Ranger in history in the fight against Lord Draken. No other Red Ranger could have done that. And now he's been a Red Ranger more than once, because in the comics he is now the Red Omega Ranger. Jason is the first and the greatest Red Ranger of them all, and that is something that will never change. Number 10, Orion. Power Rangers Megaforce and Power Rangers Super Megaforce aren't known to be the greatest seasons of Power Rangers. I mean, they have a lot of cool moments and introduced us to some cool Rangers, but overall, there are a lot of things that could have been done a lot better. Orion is the Silver Megaforce Ranger, and the reason he's on here is because he can harness not only his own powers, but the powers of every 6th Ranger ever. And he can do it all at the same time. I mean, that automatically makes him one of the most powerful Rangers around. In most cases, not all, the 6th Ranger of any team is usually considered to be one of the most powerful. So, having that power is a really big advantage for him. Number 9, Adam Park. The Black Mighty Morphin Ranger, the Green Zeo Ranger, and the Green Turbo Ranger. I feel like some people might automatically overlook Adam, especially because he came in as a replacement during Mighty Morphin. But he has shown time and time again why he is not only one of the best Power Rangers, but also one of the strongest. Not only did he become 3 different Rangers, but he has also shown how fearless he is. I mean, during Power Rangers in Space, he came back and ended up using his damaged power coin and morphed into the original Black Ranger once again. It was dangerous and painful, but Adam did it to save Carlos, the Black Space Ranger, even though it could have killed him. It eventually got repaired, and Adam even returned during Operation Overdrive, leading a team of legendary Power Rangers. He had big shoes to fill, and when he came in, everyone wanted to hate all the replacements. But Adam proved everyone wrong and became one of the coolest and most powerful Rangers. Number 8, Jen Scotts. In every season of Power Rangers, the Red is always the leader. Well, in Time Force, it was actually a little bit different. Jen, the Pink Ranger, led the team, and honestly, it makes total sense. She has the most experience when it comes down to it, and she can make all the difficult choices. She not only protects the world of the future, but also the past. She leads her team all throughout time, and does that while also taking on a new member, Wes, who had really no idea what he was getting into when he joined. Even in the final battle against Ransik, all the other Rangers are on the ground injured, and Jen manages to muster enough energy to get back up and take on Ransik even without morphing. Like, come on, that is seriously impressive. Number 7, Leo Corbett. Leo is the Red Lost Galaxy Ranger, and the cool thing about him is that he wasn't even supposed to be the Red Ranger. His brother Mike was, but when his brother is about to die, he passes the power on to his little brother. And little did they know that Leo would not only go on to become one of the most powerful Rangers, but one of the greatest Red Rangers ever. A lot of people might have put Mike on this list instead of Leo because he went on to become the Magna Defender, but Leo has proven why he is more powerful time and time again. Not only did he overcome all the odds by becoming the Red Ranger, he overcame his impulsive nature to leap before looking and ended up defeating Trakina by himself at the end of the season. It was amazing and showed just how powerful Leo was. Number 6, Eric Myers. Eric the Quantum Ranger. During Power Rangers Time Force, the Rangers were all looking for the quantum power because of how powerful it was. Eric ended up finding it and he took it for himself, and of course that didn't sit well with all the other Rangers. He may have butted heads with them on multiple occasions, but he also fought against Ransik. As the Quantum Ranger, he also commanded one of the most powerful Zords around. Well, I guess some have even called it the most powerful, and that's the Q-Rex. He may not have been the one the Rangers wanted, but Eric has proved himself multiple times, and even returned to help all the other Red Rangers during the Forever Red crossover special. Number 5, the Ranger Slayer. The Ranger Slayer comes from the Boom comic series and introduced us to Kimberly Hart, the original Pink Ranger, but from an alternate reality. And oh man, she was awesome. She has an altered suit, and she was brainwashed into working for Draken and killing other Rangers. Her story starts out the same way as the original Kimberly, but starts to change once Draken kills the Jason and Billy of her world. Add to the fact that the love of her life, Matthew Cook, ended up getting killed, she kind of snapped and ended up taking Draken on herself. She destroyed so many of his sentries, but eventually was taken down and mind controlled to work for him. She now possesses the Bow of Darkness and became known as the Ranger Slayer. She's killed multiple Rangers since then, and ultimately she did come back to the side of good and help them defeat him. This version of Kimberly is slightly older and has a lot more experience. I mean, she is just one of the coolest new additions to the Power Rangers canon. Number 4, Kruger. Kruger is part of the Power Rangers SPD team, and also known as the SPD Shadow Ranger. He ran the whole SPD, Space Patrol Delta, unit on Earth before actually joining the team later on. He was technically already powerful without his suit, but when he became the Shadow Ranger, it took his powers to a whole new level. I mean, he took on what was basically an army of Crybots by himself, and he didn't even get hit. Like, come on, that's pretty crazy. I mean, he didn't even have help while he was doing it. He did it all on his own. Add to the fact that he has a really cool costume, and you have not only the strongest SPD Ranger, but just one of the strongest Rangers in general. He has also become super popular. As of the writing of this list, he's the only SPD Ranger to appear in the video game Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. Number 3, Lord Draken. Lord Draken has seriously become one of the coolest and most popular additions to the Power Rangers mythology. What Boom Studios and Kyle Higgins did with him was amazing. And while yes, he technically possessed so many Ranger powers, and would be considered to be the most powerful in a sense, he was defeated. But that doesn't take away from how amazing he is. So if you don't know, Lord Draken is Tommy Oliver from an alternate reality. Basically, his story was the same up until he was defeated by Jason. In this reality, instead of joining the Rangers, he left. Rita found him again, and the two went on to take over the world. He got even more powerful when he attacked the command center when Zordon was giving Jason the White Ranger power. But Draken intervened and took that power for himself, merging along with the one he already had. And because of that, that gave him a seriously badass costume. His mission from then on was to destroy all the Rangers from every dimension, and stealing powers along the way. I won't give too much away, but in his quest to defeat the Rangers, he started the event known as Shattered Grid, which brought together every Ranger team ever to stop him. Number 2, Tommy Oliver. Tommy. Oh man, one of the cool things about Tommy is that he has been so many different Rangers that it gave a chance for fans to be introduced to him at different times, like different generations of fans. He was the Green Mighty Morphin Ranger, the Mighty Morphin White Ranger, he was the Green Mighty Morphin Ranger, the White Mighty Morphin Ranger, the Red Zeo Ranger, the Red Turbo Ranger, and the Black Dino Ranger. His most famous and most powerful form is definitely the Green Ranger. He was the very first evil 6th Ranger to be introduced, and he made a very strong impression. As the Green Ranger, he constantly fought the original 5 and usually always won. I mean, Rita made him for the sole purpose of destroying them, but he did get defeated and eventually joined their side. He then continued to move up and lead multiple Ranger teams. I mean, he even helped create the Dino Rangers in Power Rangers Dino Thunder. He helped defeat Draken in Shattered Grid, and it was revealed in both the comics and TV show that he now possesses a Master Morpher, which is the first of his kind, which allows him to transform into any of his Ranger forms. Usually when a Ranger becomes a new Ranger, they lose access to their old Morpher. I mean, sometimes. The odd times they'll always get it back, but this way he can morph into any form at any given time, and that right there makes him insanely powerful. And number 1, Jason Lee Scott. The original Red Ranger. Jason has shown time and time again why he is the most powerful Ranger. In the show, he was always the one going up against the biggest villains, including Tommy, who he ended up defeating by himself. I mean, he took on Goldar without powers in Season 1 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. He then went on to become the Gold Ranger during Power Rangers Zeo. He got those powers temporarily from Trey of Triforia, who was injured and split himself into 3 forms, and he was too weak to use the Gold Ranger power, so he passed them on to Jason. But, most recently, he was the Red Omega Ranger, which was introduced in the comics. In Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 2, Jason, Trini, and Zach left for a peace conference and were replaced. But in the comic, it reveals that they actually went off to become the Omega Rangers and fight greater threats, even in space. He has proven himself not only to be the strongest Ranger, but also the strongest leader. No one leads a team like him, and no matter how bad things get, he never gave up. And if you need any more proof, he was the Ranger that led the charge against Draken during Shattered Grid, leading hundreds and hundreds of Rangers. And he also gave the most epic speech during that time. He was also one of the main ones to lead the Red Rangers in Forever Red. Jason is the ultimate Ranger.
Number 10. The Ranger Sentries. The Ranger Sentries are one of the newer additions to this list, but in such a short time they have made a massive impression. I mean, they even made their way into the Power Rangers fighting game Battle for the Grid. But for those who don't know, the Ranger Sentries are from the Boom Studios comic series. They work for the villainous Lord Draken and are soldiers who are connected to the Morphin Grid with powers Draken stole from Rangers he killed. They look awesome and they have their own powerful weapons and were a key part of the Shattered Grid event. And they help Draken take over multiple worlds and kill tons of Rangers and civilians. Number 9, A-Squad. I feel like A-Squad would be probably a bit higher on this list if they were in it more. They were mentioned a lot throughout the season, but they were only in it for like a couple of episodes. They were this famous team of Rangers that were, the best for in the SPD. Even better than the main Rangers of the series, who were the B-Squad. Well, turns out that they were actually just straight up evil and not as perfect as everyone thought. They also had some interesting outfits. Their helmets were, of course, from Power Rangers in Space, but the rest of them was a hybrid of like a Ranger suit and also some high-tech military armor. It was actually really cool. I wish we could have learned more about them and had them in more episodes, but hey, they were still cool in the time they were given. And the story of the SPD's fabled A-Squad turning out to be the villains was actually really, really interesting. Number 8. Rita Repulsa movie version. Let me just say I love the 2017 Power Rangers movie. It honored the original series, but brought its own unique modern spin. Unfortunately, it didn't do as well as they were hoping, so the sequel got scrapped, and now we will never see those Rangers fight Tommy Oliver in the sequel like the after credits scene was teasing. But we did get to see them fight a Green Ranger, and that was of course Rita Repulsa. Yes, in this version, Rita was actually part of the original Ranger team that was led by Zordon. It was a cool twist. It added a really unique dynamic to the Ranger-Rita rivalry. She was the Green Ranger of that team and killed the other Rangers except Zordon, who was the Red. He managed to get their power coins and hide them from her until they could find new Rangers worthy of harnessing their power. Rita kept hers, and once she returns, she uses that coin, and we get to see her harness the Green Ranger power plus her own, and it was pretty awesome. It was cool to see how her suit adapted and got kind of corrupted. She was a great villain, and the ending set up her and her base on the moon. Elizabeth Banks did such a good job, and I would have loved to see where they would have taken her in the sequels. Number 7, Jason and Kimberly. I feel like some people might have forgotten about this one, but to this day, it's still one of the scariest Evil Ranger moments. I mean, their deep, altered voices were just scary all on their own. But if you don't remember, let me jog your memory. Evil Jason and Kimberly didn't come from an episode or a comic book. It came from a movie, Turbo, a Power Rangers movie to be exact. Divatox kidnaps and sacrifices them as a part of her plan to bring back Malagor. And the two of them come back as evil minions for him. They have enhanced strength, deep voices, as I mentioned, and red eyes. It makes for a truly terrifying combo. They fight the Turbo Rangers and actually do a ton of damage. Eventually they were restored back to normal and all is well, but it was still so cool and terrifying to see them take on the Rangers like that. Plus, fans finally got to see Jason in a Power Rangers movie since he wasn't included in the Mighty Morphin movie, which was really sad. Number 6, the Ranger Slayer. Like the Ranger Sentries, the Ranger Slayer comes from the comic series and is a new addition to the Power Rangers canon. The Ranger Slayer is actually Kimberly Hart, who was the original Pink Ranger from an alternate reality. But don't be fooled. She is not a good guy. Well, I mean at first. She was brainwashed into working for Draken and ended up killing other Power Rangers. Her story in that dimension was actually pretty similar to the original, at first. That is until Draken kills some of her teammates and her boyfriend, which makes her try to go and take on him herself. She has an altered suit and possesses the Bow of Darkness, and became known as the Ranger Slayer. The Ranger Slayer is scary, deadly, and one of the coolest things to come out of the Power Rangers comics. Number 5, the Thunder Rangers. Man, let me start off by saying Power Rangers Ninja Storm is seriously one of the best seasons that they have ever done. They have great team, great suits, an awesome villain, and some of the best character development in any Power Rangers season. Plus, they also had 2 of the best evil Rangers, Hunter and Blake, who are also known as the Crimson and Navy Thunder Rangers. They were tricked by Lothar, who was the main big bad of the season, into thinking the Wind Rangers were the bad guys and that they were responsible for their parents' death. They constantly got the upper hand on Shane, Tori, and Dustin, but in the end, realized the truth and eventually became their allies. Their journey was one of the highlights of the season as you understand why they were doing what they were doing. Throw in the fact that they had some of the coolest suits and moments of any Evil Rangers, and it just makes for an amazing Evil Ranger. Number 4, the White Dino Ranger. Trent Fernandez Mercer, aka the White Dino Ranger. Trent was the adoptive son of the big bad of the season, Mesogog, also known as Tommy's former colleague and friend, Anton Mercer. Trent's real parents were archaeologists who were killed while on a mission with Anton, so he decided to take him in. Trent eventually comes in contact with the White Dino Gem, which was created by Tommy and Anton, and turns into the White Ranger, which gives him one of the coolest Ranger suits ever. Like seriously, it's in the top 5. The Dino Gem gives him super speed and the ability to camouflage. The gem was tampered with and ended up corrupting him, which is why he ended up going evil, since before he found it, Trent was friends with Connor, Ethan, and Kira, and of course Tommy Oliver, who is now known as Dr. Tommy Oliver, since he earned a PhD in paleontology, which is something I never thought would happen. But I mean, in Power Rangers universe, I guess, anything is possible. But back to Trent, he became one of the greatest evil Rangers by not only besting the main 3 Dino Rangers, but also Tommy on multiple occasions, who, as everyone knows, is one of the best. Like a lot of other evil Rangers, he ends up turning to the good side eventually, but that does not take away from all the mayhem he caused before that point. Number 3, Lord Draken. Okay, so this was tough because Lord Draken could have easily been number 1. And I mean, this just shows you how many good evil Rangers there are. I mean, because of all the things he's done, and the fact that he's brand new, which makes it even more impressive. He's Tommy Oliver from an alternate universe, who, after being defeated by Jason, decided to stay evil and went back to Rita. His goal from then on was to not only destroy the Rangers of his world, but every world. He created Ranger Sentries from the powers of the Rangers he killed, and technically he ultimately won by creating his own dimension, although they ended up changing it. But Draken killed so many Rangers and destroyed so many worlds that overall he did accomplish more than any evil Ranger ever, and that's a massive achievement. Plus, Jason David Frank actually got to play him in live action for the Shattered Grey comic event trailer, which was very cool. Here's hoping we get to see Lord Draken officially show up in a Power Rangers film or TV show one day, because that would be so awesome. Number 2, the Green Ranger. Okay, so I might get a little hate for this, maybe, since a lot of people would consider Tommy to be number 1. Because yes, he is awesome, and he almost was number 1. This was really hard. Tommy was the original evil Ranger. He started the trend. The Green Ranger was so popular. I mean, everyone loved him. After he was gone, they got so many requests to bring him back that they did bring him back. He consistently defeated the Rangers in battle. I mean, he even jumped into the Megazord and destroyed them in there, something that no other villain did. And it didn't end there. He even teleported into the command center and he destroyed it. He seriously injured Alpha and Zordon. The latter took a long time for them to fix. Once they found out that it was their friend Tommy, it caused even more of a rift because he knew everything about them. There would be no evil Power Rangers without Tommy, and he will always be remembered as one of the best. But now we head on to number 1, the Psycho Rangers. Now, like I said, I know a lot of people would put Tommy as number 1, and rightfully so. But while Tommy started the trend of the Evil Rangers, the Psycho Rangers took that concept and ran with it. They were absolutely terrifying, and not only tormented one Ranger team, but 2. They fought both the Space Rangers and the Lost Galaxy Rangers, where the pink Psycho Ranger was technically responsible for the death of the pink Lost Galaxy Ranger Kendricks, which was the first time a Ranger had actually died in the show's history, which was a massive deal. They were so popular that they even ended up introducing a new Psycho Ranger in the comics, the Green Psycho Ranger, who was, you guessed it, also insanely evil, killing Rangers from the original Mighty Morphin team who went on a mission to the moon in the year 1969. Now, of course, that is during comic continuity and not TV show continuity. But regardless, they changed everything. I mean, they even returned in the new graphic novel Power Rangers the Psycho Path, which was also amazing.